Ooh, ooh. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live for the May Painting Challenge Day 27. Getting set up right now. You can hear the bleh. You can hear the compressor kicking on. That's as I've got to do a little bit of airbrushing tonight, and then I'll as soon as that's over, obviously I will turn off the compressor. We'll get to some painting and kind of take it from there. So right now, once again, you're just catching me in the middle of setup. I gotta make sure we are good to go. Looks like we are. I've got the chat open on the YouTube side, so you guys can comment there. And then we'll painting. I'm gonna do, so tonight, you can see the camera is here on these Super Dungeon Explorer Hero minis. These are the last miniatures that I'm planning on completing for the May Painting Challenge. Anything after this is just gonna be kind of like whatever I have left over with the leftover days. So I'm not planning on painting all of these tonight, although, you know, I do plan on having them all done by the end of May. Tonight, we're only gonna work on 2, maybe 3. Yeah, maybe 3 of these miniatures. For sure, the Paladin, probably the Barbarian, and probably this guy as well, the Hearthsworn Fighter. And then, just because I can, we're going to do the spare treasure chest as well. I'm going to pull the other heroes off here, and we're going to do just a little bit of airbrushing. So let's go ahead and get to that. The only thing right now, I'm just going to drop a little bit of white primer on Mr. Dwarf here. So we'll get in, we'll airbrush some base colors, and then we'll just get to painting. I don't know if I should really be working on 3 models, but you know, hey, it's Play It Painted Live. Worst things can happen. This is for a commission, but the good news is I don't technically have to have these done. I already have a painted SDE set. It's just going to be a matter of swapping out models. Looks like right now having some issue getting my primer to spray. There it goes. All right, looks like I'm gonna have to do a little gun maintenance here. My airbrush is seen better days at this point, so just a little bit of white primer here. Not much. I don't have to do a whole lot here. Just edge highlight on the shield and the sword. I mean the axe, and a little bit of priming here on the beard underneath. I'll prime the back of the hair and the glove. There. See? Not too bad. All right. And we'll see if anyone's actually going to join tonight. I mean, it seems like a quiet night. And so that's not necessarily a bad thing, though. I mean, sometimes the quiet nights are nice. I can actually get a lot done, and I can ramble to my heart's content. And so if you're watching this in a recorded version, get ready for the ramble. That's all I got to say. We're doing some ramble painting tonight. Let's get this just a wee bit of a zenith highlight right there. All right, cool. Look pretty good. Let's clean that out. What do I do with the alcohol? Not the drinking kind of alcohol. Just the denatured kind that I use for cleaning out my lines here. All right. So yeah, this past weekend was my birthday. So I hope you guys were able to tune in at least for the loot video where I showed off all the cool stuff I got for my birthday. And it was a very fun birthday. Spent half at a gaming convention, Strategicon GameX, that was in LA. That was fun. Ran some Forgotten King up there and ran Relic Knights. So good times. Met a couple of friends up there. Maybe possibly made a couple of new friends. You know how it goes. And then came back here and spent the the rest of the weekend with my family. And let me tell you guys, my wife spoiled me rotten. For the rest of the weekend, it was chicken and waffles and awesome stuff, and obviously just loving every minute I've got with my son. And of course, doing a little goodie shopping, picking up some miniatures, picking up some tech. I got a new phone. I got a new tablet. It was a fun weekend, I guess. Not I guess, it was a fun weekend, and I really enjoyed it. It was tough to come back to work. I had 4 days off. So it's difficult to come back when you've had so much time off and you've enjoyed every bit of your time away. But, all good things must come to an end. So here we are. But it really wasn't even that much of an end, because even last night, go back to work for a day, and last night went out and played some Eldorado. So that was fun. So yeah, I can't really complain. Things have been really good, and I'm just really, really happy about where things are right now. Really happy, really grateful for family, friends, and just everybody who sent me fair well wishes on my birthday. And for those of you who are just kind of here watching me paint, supporting the channel, this is all stuff that I am very, very grateful for. I gotta do a little bit of cleanup on my airbrush, because I guess the last time I used this, I went pretty strong on the painting. All right, it's looking pretty good. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some gunk in the cap here I need to clear out. So we might be working on 2 miniatures tonight instead of 3. That's okay. It's okay. Like I said, as far as the progress through the May Painting Challenge went, we are so far ahead of schedule. It's not even funny. At this point, it's just, let's just paint everything that's kind of in front of us, and then keep going. I know that some people are going to continue on with the challenge because they didn't finish their intended projects for May. I think that's really awesome. That's admirable. I'm looking forward to continuing to support the channels that are going to keep going, and obviously this channel will keep going. But we're probably going to stick with our weekly format. I'm going to need a little time off from the daily uploads, if you know what I mean. But I still have those projects to finish. So there's that. Wow, got a lot of gunk here to kind of clean out. Cleaning up the cap has been kind of my struggle of late with the airbrushes. Like I've been doing a healthy mix of putting and lighting, and so making sure that my cap is nice and clean is kind of important. You need your liquid, whatever liquid you're shooting out of the airbrush. You need it to atomize properly, and it won't atomize properly. You hear that? It's so soft. It just went to a really soft spray. It's because there's still gunk in the cap. Tori Ling says, hello. What's up, Tori? Welcome to the show. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, now we can actually get back to it. Sorry for the long delay there, just clearing out a jam. So let's get to it. Now I'm gonna work with some inks and just to help the change out move through a little bit fast. Ooh, well, I needed that. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this brown ink. I'm gonna work on the beard of the Heartsworn Fighter. So just a little bit of this brown ink here. And this will also, I'll also use this on the treasure chest. So here we go. There we go. And the back of the hair. Pretty good. I like with the inks how you can just build your color and your shading however you please. So I'm going to do that. In fact, you know, I'm going to do a gold trim on the helm itself. So I'm going to drop a little more of this brown ink on the bridge here. And just give myself a little bit of shadow to work with. Very, very slight. Okay, cool. And let's do a little brown here on the Barbarian. Woo. There we go. Pretty good. Woo. Well, that was a bit much, but we'll fix that. Okay. Got a little bit of brown on the base there. It's not a big deal. And then finally, we're going to use this brown on this treasure chest. Quick and dirty. There we go. Nice quick base coat on the treasure chest. There's really not much to it. There you have it. All right. Okay, so there you go. Next up, I'm going to do a little bit of like an orangey color for the Barbarian's hair. So I'm going to use a skin tone ink from Vallejo, and that actually gives you kind of a ruddy orangey hair. So let's go ahead and do that. Looks like we're still good to go. So I'm going to use this skin wash. Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. Tonight's task is Super Dungeon Explorer Classic Set. Now, if I were to tell you that this is the first time I've painted these types of models on the live show, I would be lying through my teeth, because I painted these models at least once each on the live show. In the case of the Paladin, I've probably done it like 3 or 4 times, because this is really where I get a bulk of my commission stuff doing this. So I got really good at painting this classic set. That said, I think this may be the last time I actually paint a classic set on commission, because I just don't expect to be seeing many more of these, if at all, show up on my commissions table. So you can see that orangey hair coming in. So quick too, how that, and if you do it right, you can highlight and shade at the same time. See, looking pretty cool. Okay, so there's that. Let's give the fighter hair kind of orangey gloves. I don't really, not going to do much fancy with this fighter, to be honest with you guys. So I'm just going to, whoa. I'm just going to apply this way. Then we'll come in and give him a few other colors, but otherwise he's not going to be that colorful of a guy. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might. Well, it's too. Color is too orange to really do anything else there. So let me clear this one out. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the body and the cloak of our paladin. So I have to switch to an actual paint here for a minute, which is kind of a bummer because, again, paints take longer to clear out of the gun than inks do. It's one of the reasons why I like to use inks for color blocking on miniatures, because you can clear through so fast. It's a big bonus to be able to do that when you're airbrushing for speed, because so much of airbrush time is used just maintaining keeping it clear from jams, that kind of thing. And if you're using inks, your change out times really do improve. All right, so I need some kind of a darker color here. I guess I'm gonna go. With like a blue gray for armor, which means I'm going to start off kind of dark. I'm going to start off with this intermediate blue, and then I'm going to highlight with this pale blue gray, and then I'm going to paint. And I'm going to airbrush his hair and his cloak, and then we're just going to go right into the brush painting. So, okay. And again, with these, I did, my standard kind of zenithal highlighting. So, all right. So I'm going to drop in this shade color here. I'm actually going to use this on the, I think I'll use this on the dwarf too. It's actually a pretty nice shade color. All right, I got an idea. I am going to do this all over this model, because this is going to act as a undercoat for the gray armor and the blue cloak. So it's just a nice shadowy color to go with. So let's do that. Okay, and I can even I need to use this color more often. I love it. It's like a navy color. It's fantastic. That's awesome. I love that. That's great. All right. So then we're going to do that here. Just going to give him a bluish kilt there. See that? That's it. That's all I'm going to really do on the dwarf. I don't intend on... there's so little of his body actually showing that really, once you get the beard down, you're not required to do much else on the guy. There we go. Okay. Whoa. Still got a lot of this blue left. Okay, cool. Now let's clear out this blue. And we're going to go up to gray for the cloak. And then I'm going to do a regular, like more of a standard blue color for like an enchanted blue or whatever for the cloak. All right. So yeah, while I'm doing this change out, let's talk a little bit about the week 4 recap on this channel and how I've handled the May Painting Challenge. So week 4 was actually, this week 4 that we're working through has actually been a challenge, mainly because it was my birthday, mainly because I had so many activities planned and just enjoying my time. And so I'm really, really glad that the bulk of the challenge stuff happened in the first couple of weeks of the challenge. I pledged to finish all the Wave 2 everything box for SDE, and I finished that like in the middle of week 2. And then, the rest of it was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Am I just going to do odds and ends? And I did for a few days, and then it turned out that this commission came through for me, and so I moved over to that. So it's all been pretty, oh man, I should have, oh well. It's all been pretty fortunate, the way things turned out. Painting your stretch goal for the May Painting Challenge. Cool. Tori, I hope that what you had promised to show us at the end, that's still going to happen, because I'm looking forward to that. I think that will be cool. So anyway, but yeah, so things worked out pretty well. And so week 3 was a sort of relaxed week for me. I didn't necessarily feel the need to push very hard. I had to get ready for a convention and all that. But that said, I still had plenty of time to get some gaming in. I had some Takawashi miniatures, and then obviously get going on this commission. So yeah, it's been pretty good. I'm pretty pleased overall with how the challenge went. It would have been cool if I could, really put more output into this final week, but I'm not really concerned about it. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not, I don't think I'm missing anything really. Look at that. So a little highlight there in the shield, you can see that. Oh, you showed it today? Okay, cool. I've got to watch that video. Cool. Okay, so there's that. Got a little gray armor in there. Okay, so is there anything else that's gray on these miniatures? Oh, here's a gray. Couple of gray pieces there and there. I think that's about it. Yeah. Okay, so let's clear this out. Then we'll do a little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow, and then the airbrushing is done, and we'll just get to the painting. The most of what I'll be showing you guys from an actual, like, I guess, learning standpoint, if you guys do learn anything from this show, is I'll show you a little bit of how I do chibi eyes and how I do the skin on these types of miniatures, because that's mostly what we're going to be painting at this point. Okay. All right. So now I need to go find myself a blue, a decent, bright, or royal type of blue. I could go with this blue from the Minotaur line. So that's a thought. I could also just go with a more, I think I have a model air color that's a more standard blue. So let's see what we got there. So we got some options here. I'm gonna, Lord Draconum, hello, just watching at the moment, looking into basing my Wrath of Kings. Nice, man. Wrath of Kings, I gotta get back to playing some of that, because I gotta learn that game. I, got enough of it that I really should spend some time playing it. Okay, so I've got, it's a little too, well, no, it'll work. It's a little blue, but It should be okay. Let's put a on that in. Ooh, wow. Sometimes when these Vallejo model color, if you don't model air, if you don't use them often enough, really do need to shake them up, make sure they're the right consistency. I forget, Lord Draconin, what faction are you playing for Wrath of Kings? Sorry for making you drop your basing for a second there to answer me. Just curious. Because I still have a couple of factions here that I have not painted or sold. And at some point, I may come back and paint at least one of what I've got left. That's nice. So a little blue there. A little blue here. There we go. It's pretty nice. I need a little bit of white. I need to do a little bit of white on the armor, but I won't be able to do that. Should actually do that with a dry brush, not the airbrush. All right. Looking at Garitzi. You know, I sold my Garitzi out of the gate because Corey wanted it. And there's a part of me that greatly regrets it because the Garitzi miniatures look so fun. I like the vampires and the werewolves. Although the werewolves are very, very Rackham and I think cool. But yeah, I like their aesthetic. Originally, I had planned that I was going to go Garitzi as my main for Wrath of Kings, but Shalehan just looked too cool. Shalehan, the overall look of Shalehan really kind of sold me. Yeah, I see you're also looking at Shalehan's awesome looking, and they were pretty fun from the couple of intro games that I played. I would love to try to find whoever the local Cool Mini or Not Legion guy is around here and get a formal demo of it, just to make sure that I'm understanding the key concepts well enough. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a little bit of gold work on these, and so I'm gonna do this ochre, and I'm gonna use a yellow ochre just to kind of get. Well, you know what? Before I even do that, I should use this brown ink to kind of base the gold parts, miniatures, give them just a little bit of an undercoat. So like the little knee pad here on her, we'll do that little side of the belt. She's got little bracers here. Okay, looks pretty good. And then I guess I'll hit the bottom of her axe with a little bit of brown. Yeah. See, I just kind of make it up as I go along. It'll work. Of course it'll work. That's how everybody should paint. You should basically just wing it and paint until you like it. It's my personal philosophy, and it served me fairly well. All right. And then I'm going to do the cross here on his shield. Whoa. I probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I'll have to fix that. It's okay though. I lost a little bit of control. You can see there's just a little mess. But I can fix that. It's not a big deal. Okay. I have a starter for that at the moment. I have a few of the confrontation models. It's sweet to hear about that they're cool. I have a friend looking into Technies. See, I was going to paint Technies because I have Technies and Hedros left in my room here, and it seems like I should have no issues whatsoever finding a buyer for Hadros. So that means, if I am going to paint another faction, it's most likely going to be Technies. All right. Anyway, let's get to the gold here. Yellow ochre. See if I can do this without the yellow ochre gumming up on me. That's one issue with this particular color. This color in the presence of thinners and alcohol is kind of coarse, and so I just don't want it to separate and look terrible. Okay, so let's do a little test spray. Looking pretty good. There we go. So I'll clean up that shield. But I can also do this stuff, and it's going to look pretty good here. There we go. And I'm base coat his hair, this yellow ochre color. See that? There we go. Oh, TGCon, Kublai Khan was a blast. Troy? Pretty good. I mean, the Strategicon so often that it's fun. It doesn't really, I'm never really surprised by anything there because, we just know the show so well and it happens 3 times a year. But yeah, it was fun. Got to do some Relic Knights, Super Dungeon Explorer, hang out with friends, and really just enjoy my time, enjoy it's like a little mini vacation for me. So it was fun. Glad Kublai Khan was fun. I think a couple of people from SoCal attended. That's good to hear. What'd you play up there? Did you try anything new? I didn't really get to see anything new at Strategicon myself because I had events to run, and I still owe myself that Robotech demo, but I have not done that. So yeah, that's my fault. I'm giving him these gold tips here. There you go. You can see gold tips there on that guy. And she's got her NMM gold down. He's got the base coat for his hair. Let's just keep it rocking. I'm going to put a little, oh shoot. Totally forgot to do the gold on this. End of the world. I just don't want to have to come back is the issue. So let me clear it up with a little bit of alcohol. Picked up a copy of a fun beer and pretzel game called Camp Grizzly, and I got to see the wonderful, awesome backstabbing game called Cutthroat Kingdoms. Cool. Cutthroat Kingdoms will be a Kickstarter soon. Okay, cool. I'll be interested in hearing about that. I mean, Lord knows I haven't backed enough Kickstarters. Lately, the only one that I jumped in on was Ninja All-Stars, so I guess I am kind of due for one, right? All right, so just a little gold there on. Just do a little gold trim detail work. There we go. So at least the treasure chest is almost done. Also, Learned how to play Alchemist Splendor, 5 Tribes, in a mini game called Strange Eons. I've heard of Strange Eons. I don't know if it's any good. That's cool. Yeah, it sounds like you were able to make good use of your time up there at KublaCon, just trying out different games, and that sounds like fun. All right. Okay. What's left? One little splotch of yellow, basically, and then a little bit of a gray, and we're done. Let's find that. Let's find that Vallejo model color yellow that I like to spray. Failing that, I can only spray Minotaur Craven. It's not a big deal. And it's looking like I will be spraying Minotaur Craven because I don't want to look for that. And I know Minotaur Craven is right here. So Minotaur Craven, oh, I need something lighter because I'm spraying I guess I could do this bile color. It's pretty light. Let's do it. So I'm going to spray bile as the highlight here, and then we're just going to move on. Okay, a little bit of bile. Beep. There we go. And I'm just going to spray it right here. Right on this front of this guy's hair. Spray the back of his hair. There we go. Okay. Quick and dirty. Now we're going to go with I'm going to spray a little bit of that dark blue back into the shield. No, actually, I might just spray the gray. Maybe I should use US gray from Model Air and just spray it in that corner there. What am I saying? I'll spray the lighter gray. It's cool because I'm going to highlight it white anyway. I've seen Strange Eons hang out with one of the people who helped the creator playtest it. Oh, wow. Hey, small world, right? There's so many miniature games out here. The likelihood that anyone watching the show or painting on the show may have a miniatures game in the next 3 to 5 years is a pretty high percentage. So, fairly good chance one of us is going to jump in. And, you know, and obviously, some of us here have actually helped make or play test, or we all kind of partake of that kind of stuff because it's fun and we like to do it, and we like to have that little bit of contribution to games that we like. So, okay, so a little gray here. And I'm just gonna shoot it right into where I messed up on the shield. I basically just overshot the gold a little bit. So let's clean that up. There we go. There. Cool. Nice and clean. Okay. Was there any other parts that I need to clean up here? Right there. Right here. There we go. And right there. Okay. Nice. All right. And that's it. That's it for the airbrushing. We're going to go into the actual painting here. So let me do my final clean out of the gun. And we can turn off this damn air compressor because it's driving me crazy. So, yeah, tonight I don't have a set topic. I'm going to talk a little bit about what Dread Lund had talked about on his video today. Don't know if you guys are subscribed to Dread Lund. Solvent Abuse UK, I believe, is his YouTube channel. He's this really awesome guy from the UK, obviously, that does scale models. He does dioramas. He's a hobbyist. He's a commission painter. Just an overall awesome channel. The stuff that he works on is just mind-blowing. But he's also kind of known as, just a guy that is really passionate about the hobby, and he speaks his mind, I deeply respect that, because he says a lot of things that I think some of us are thinking and just can't really put words to. I don't know. I just think he's one of those channels. He's one of those guys that really embodies what the hobby is really like, including the YouTube side of it. Because he's a YouTuber. He's a hobbyist and a YouTuber, and so that gives, for those of us that are hobbyists and YouTubers, it gives us a little bit of slightly different perspective on the overall hobby and the activities contained within that hobby. A lot of the YouTube isms, I guess, because a hobbyist on YouTube is slightly different than just a regular miniature hobbyist. He incorporates a little bit of the video. It's, I guess, if you're a hobbyist on YouTube, and the way I look at it is, you're just a vlogger, and you're vlogging your passion for this hobby, and that's the approach that I believe he takes. That's the approach I take, and so that's where our perspective is coming from. So, what I'm about to say at some points might offend some people. It's probably not going to offend anybody that's watching this live. But it might offend, or it might be misconstrued by somebody watching the recorded version. Let's see. I'm a Cthulhu fanboy, so I will be picking up Strange Eon 2nd Edition when it releases. Last I heard, they were playtesting at the moment. I was tend to pick it up, but a few games that I wanted to play. Cool. Strange Eons does sound good. Let me pause here for a little soda break. Nice. And let's break out our painting stuff. Okay. So yeah. So anyways, Dread Lund kind of went on a bit of a ramble today about his channel, and the fact that his channel is now 3 years old. So congrats, Dread, on that. It's kind of a coincidence too. Play It Painted as a concept officially 2 years old on my birthday, and then this YouTube channel is somewhere closer to 3 or 4 years old. So it's all pretty relevant. He and I started doing our YouTube vids at around the same time, and I feel like we're in a lot of areas where we're seeing eye to eye and we're agreeing with stuff. So we talked about this idea that the veterans of the hobby, like him, that are passionate about the hobby, really look at it. Look at this type of activity, YouTube, contests, that kind of stuff, as an opportunity to give something back to the community, to show some appreciation for what this hobby has done for each of us personally, and then the relationships that we have made because of the hobby, the friendships that we've made because of the hobby, the the stuff that really matters because of the hobby, and that's really cool. And so his whole perspective, his whole attitude on it is that we really should look at it from the standpoint of I'm giving something back. And I guess I don't think he was trying to tell us that that's what we do. He's just saying that's what he does. I like to think that's what I do too. That I think that hobby, there are going to be times where you give and times where you take. An example of that might be running a contest for charity, like he's doing right now. He's got a Dreadlun Judge Dredd contest that he's running for charity. So that's an example of a time you might be giving to the hobby. You might be teaching somebody how to paint. You might be teaching somebody how to play a game. You might be volunteering for to host something at your local hobby store. Those are examples of giving to the hobby. And then there are examples of taking from the hobby. Taking from the hobby could be things like, and don't get me wrong, taking from the hobby in of itself is not a bad thing. Of course, obviously, yes, you are going to take from the hobby. You do this for yourself to please something about yourself. So to say, oh, you should only give to the hobby is a bit naive. And in fact, I would admit that, maybe a few years ago, a more puritanical stance about it and said, no, you must only give you must only give to the hobby. You can't take anything from it. But, partaking in other people's events, trying to win prizes, leveraging your own sphere of influence to gain some goals that directly take from the hobby. One of the things that he brought up, though, is that he sees and I've seen this too, that sometimes we see folks that only look at the hobby and only look at their approach to the YouTube isms, the podcasts, the basically public slash the public outreach. They look at that only in terms of what they can get from it, only in terms of what they can take from it. For example, and it's stupid crap like e-fame, right? Like, oh, I can get e-fame if I ask people to comment, like, and subscribe, and then I offer prizes and tell them, go out there and plug my channel and I'll throw prizes at you. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I think, and this sounds subjective, so go ahead and call me on it. I don't care. But I think that there are instances where if you see somebody only doing that, and they're only, oh, I can't wait here's my channel again, and I can't wait to come watch my channel and pay attention to me and like me and follow me, and I'm going to use your subscribership to curry favor with, say, a gaming manufacturer, so that gaming manufacturer will send me free shit, or or I get special bonuses that other people don't get, and I need to be part of some big exclusive thing. That's taking. That's not, you're not giving to the, especially if you're not adding anything. There's a lot of parasitism to these larger channels, to not just the larger channels, but channels that seem to only thrive on sponsorships, that only seem to thrive on what can I get from this, and that's how it comes off. And I know it sounds horrible that maybe I'm presupposing the person's ultimate goals, but that's what it looks like. It looks like their actions speak only to, what can I get from this? What does this gain me more e-fame? Does this get me more attention? Does this get me potential sponsorships? Do I get free shit from it? And I think it's sad. And Dredd called it out too. He's like, there are people, and it's not a new thing by any stretch of the term, But there are folks out there that go around, they collect endorsements, they collect sponsorships from manufacturers of gaming and gaming supplies, and then they do nothing with it. They pocket it. Good evening from Virginia. What's up, David? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, and I want to be sponsored by this company, and I'm just gonna make up names of companies, and I know that they're, but like, if I want free miniatures bags, I'm gonna plug this guy's miniatures bags, and then I'm gonna tell him to send me miniatures bags because 2,000 people watch my channel, so send me bag for free, and I'm just gonna be rocking this bag, and everyone's gonna be paying attention to me, and I promise you I'll give you a good review. I think that's I have to question the motives there, and I've seen that over the years. I've seen that happen enough times to where I was talking to Dredd about it too. I'm like, most of the times I just won't. I unsub to those channels. I stop. I stop watching them because I don't agree with what they're doing. If they contact, like what Dredd does is, for in the case of his latest contest, he contacted the manufacturer. He said, "Hey, I want to do a contest for charity." And they were cool. Like most of these miniature manufacturers, by the way, are very cool about this kind of stuff. And it's like, hey, that's free advertising for us. And this guy, we trust this guy. Let's send him stuff. And so they send him stuff, and he's going to give away the overwhelming majority of it to benefit the charity. And he may keep a piece or two. That's fine. I think that's totally okay. What I take exception to is, oh, did my video go out, or better make sure. Am I still here? Because I don't see anything on. Huh. Scary. Shoot me a comment if I'm still on, because I'm looking at the screen on the YouTube feed side, and I see nothing. I see no painting, no nothing. But anyway, so yeah, there are guys that are like, okay, here's an airbrush manufacturer. I'm gonna collect the airbrushes, and I'm gonna keep this much of it, and it's gonna be about me and whatever. And I don't think that's cool. And I've spoken up about it a few times. It's hasn't really done me favor with some of the larger wargaming channels out there, but I don't care. I just don't. I think that if you're gonna levy your audience to try to get yourself free shit and not really put anything back into the community, well, sorry, I don't agree with that. Yo dog, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, Adam? Yeah, I just don't agree with it. And it speaks to me, it speaks to the person's ultimate motivations. And man, I know this just sounds like, ugh, but anyway, I just wanted to say that, but that Dredd he's that we like to hear, or that we even really like to talk about most of the time, because most of the time we just want to focus in on the positive sides of what people are doing, and I'm totally in that camp for the most part. But he piped up today, and I was like, you know what? That's, for some people, it's going to be a little upsetting to hear. I agree that there are people out there that want you to sub, want you to watch, and their goal is free shit, e-fame, and to walk around a con and look important. And and I actually added a point too, because Dreadlun, he's mostly painter hobbyist guy. He doesn't do the gaming so much, and you guys know I do a pretty good mixture of both. I paint the stuff that I play, and I play all the stuff that I paint. And I add too that there are channels that will that will take quote unquote authoritative positions on gaming matters, on games, and claim to be knowledgeable about games. And for those of us that play those games, we know that they're full of shit. And we know, I know that guy. He's not playing this game. I know because I know that game, and what he's talking about is wrong. I think that's the disservice again. I do. I think that okay, so you got a big channel and you want to talk about gaming, but your information is bad, or it's not beneficial to your audience. I've spoken up about that. Again, I've spoken up to people that have tried to do that, and again, not making any friends doing that. But I feel that our audiences here, I feel that the people that take time to watch our videos, to comment on our videos, to hit a like button, to hit a subscribe button, I think they deserve better than and I've actually heard people, I've heard these folks lament this off camera or off air. Oh, I have to learn this game so that I can add it to my channel because I want this type of content. That's garbage, man. That's stupid. That's like, are you like a paid actor or something? This is stupid. This is miniature freaking gaming here. There's like, this is one of the smallest, most niche audiences in all of YouTube. If you think that, learning Wrath of Kings or something is going to net you some sort of e-fame, it'd probably get you a few free minis from Cool Mini or not. But let's face it, if you're not playing now, what makes you think you're going to play just because they sent you a pack of free miniatures? If you're that person whose ultimate motivation is to take from the hobby and not really be a part of the hobby, you're not going to play that shit. Why do you even want the free stuff? I don't know. I don't know. I'm into some weird territory right now with the rambling, so. But hey, I warned you, no set topic. I just thought I would chime in on what Dredd was saying today. And he said it so much nicer, so much cleaner than I'm saying it right now. And I just want to say, hey, I agree with him. It's fantastic that the overwhelming majority of people that I interact with the hobby do look at the hobby in terms of a little bit more equitable, give and take. Enjoy the hobby for what it is. Enjoy your time with the people, and really get behind stuff and embrace it because you enjoy it, not because you're gonna score something or get more attention or whatever. So anyway, take it for what it's worth. That's my ramble piece on that particular subject. So there's like stuff going on my phone. Where is my phone? Here we go. Let's see. I got a new phone, by the way. It's pretty sick. Samsung 4. Oh, look at that. You can see the reflection of me right there. Really awesome. Really great phone. Oh, was Tori telling me that I'm still on? Don't mind the ramble. Cool. So yeah, that was cool. And then it kind of it was, that kind of stuff has been on my mind too, because like I said, Play It Painted is now 2 years old, which is cool. And I thought, hey, if I'm going to ramble about something, might as well ramble about the history of I guess it's a brand, right? I guess Play It Painted is a brand. It's not necessarily only a channel or only a club or only a commissioned painting service. It's a brand. It's a concept that I put together 2 years ago. And frankly, all it really is just a means for me to brand particular activities that I enjoy. That's all Play It Painted really is. The goals of Play It Painted and the activities of Play It Painted are going to change with my changing needs within the hobby. The way I like to explain Play It Painted to people is it's a really cool excuse for me to make t-shirts and paint miniatures and have fun, right? Yes, we go to, yes, we're active in the community. Yes, we go to conventions. Yes, we We teach people how to paint, how to play. We volunteer for some companies, but we promote lots of other just games in general. So yes, all that stuff is true, but I hate to disappoint you guys. There is no master plan to Play It Painted. Play It Painted will exist as long as we're having fun doing these activities under the banner. Okay, it was so let me explain that. I'm going to give you guys the history of Play It Painted. If you fall asleep, cool. Have a good night. If not, kudos for having the attention span to deal with a somewhat boring story. So anyway, so you know, the story begins really with volunteering to show people games and my start in the miniatures wargaming hobby. Okay, so again, one of those old school guys, started in our garage, and we started on the painting side. We painted everything that we played, because that was the only way we understood that the miniature games were to be enjoyed. We started painting Ral Partha stuff to enjoy our games of D&D. That's how we started. That's how a lot of people started back then. Around the whole Warhammer 40K thing, played the end of Rogue Trader 2nd edition all the way up to 5th. And during that time, you would show people game. All people that start in either the early days of the hobby or play in remote areas, you guys are all basically gaming ambassadors by default. It's a requirement for partaking of the hobby, because it's not a big hobby. You're going to show people, you want more people to play. You want to show people what painting is about. If you're a painter, because it's cool to see other people paint stuff, and you spread your hobby. You spread what you enjoy to the people you enjoy, whose company you enjoy. So even if you never played any of these games and you were a hobbyist, chances are you'd wrangle up your best friends or whatever, and you'd say, hey, come paint this with me. And they're like, paint what? This is bullshit. And they sit down and they paint with you. And they're like, hey, you know what? That's just kind of fun. So that's where we started. And all the while, it was just kind of a seed in the back of in the back of my head that this was something that another part of the hobby was outreach, was teaching people stuff, getting in front of people, teaching them how to paint, teaching them how to play. Showing up at the shows. And the very first Games Workshop Games Day I ever went to, we volunteered for. We'd never been to a gaming convention in our lives, and we volunteered for it because it just seemed like fun. Like, okay, if I'm going to go to this convention, and it's going to be it's a GW Games Day, so we're like, okay, we know there's going to be a big 40K tournament. We know there's going to be a fantasy tournament. Those are cool, but I kind of want to enjoy some time at the con. I want to meet new people. And it's especially rewarding when you show somebody new how to play the game or how to paint something. So that was our mindset going into the very first convention. And we would go on to volunteer for more games days. And we would go on to try out events in stores and that kind of stuff, and we got out of the GW side of things because it just happens sometimes. You get a little disenfranchised with what's going on with GW. You might not be interested in the games anymore. For me, it's a combination of all those things plus price increases and all that stuff that everybody quits over the same reasons, basically over and over again. And we ended up looking at skirmish games. We ended up looking at a little game called Malifaux. The activity started to pick up, right? And Troy's been around for this, so Troy knows at least some of this story, how this all went down. But yeah, eventually we would go on to becoming henchmen for Weird. We had the SoCal Malifaux group, the infamous SoCal Malifaux group. That was a big thing. It was a crew of us, and we were all. It was a big, active, healthy, fun community. And sometimes rules additions come along that we don't like. And we didn't like the M2E rules edition, and it was more than just that, though. I mean, to be honest with you, some of our core guys were getting tired. They were tired of they didn't they have volunteer in the blood, and I accept that about myself now. I accept that's just something in my blood that I can't really explain. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and it's unrealistic to expect everybody to like that, because not everybody likes it, and not everybody should like that. It's a very thankless job sometimes, and it's very resource intensive. That's another thing. Going to cons means you're out of pocket. It doesn't matter how many how much credit you get from a manufacturer. If you're at a convention, especially an out-of-town convention, you're out for food, you're out for gas, you're out for hotel, you're out. You have to have terrain, you have to have materials, you have to have loaner materials. To try to do this for profit is a stupid thing. To volunteer to run gaming is to basically throw a lot of money away, quite frankly. And if you don't absolutely love it, you will be so upset at how much money you've just thrown down the drain. So that's legit. And I don't criticize people that try out volunteering and they come to that realization and say, you know what, this is a greater price than I had intended to pay, and they back out of it. And I think that's completely fine, as long as they're honest with themselves and their team, and everybody keeps expectations up in front of everybody, then we're good. I had a few situations where people were not so upfront about it, and still were expecting me to be their benefactor for certain things, and I felt that they were disingenuous, and in one case completely disrespectful of myself and our group. So you get the gamer drama. Great gamer drama is bullshit, by the way. It's really sad. It is. It's bullshit. There's no excuse for gamer drama. And trust me, I'm a person that's been around and caused and been the center of some gamer drama myself. It's bullshit. That's all there is to it. There's no excuse for it. It's just sometimes, even though we're all grown ass men, we still play with toys. We still have a little bit of temper tantrum and juvenile aspects to our personality. So, but anyway, so M2E hits, and that was a pretty devastating blow to our little community, because it divided the community, and our core team, after being so married to the manufacturer, we're stuck with, okay, what do we do now? And that was our identity too. We forged a local identity around that. What do we do now? Because we can't do that anymore. It's not in us to run this anymore. We're not, and I'm not going to throw, hundreds or thousands of dollars away promoting a game that we no longer love, for a community that is itself splintered up, and so our friends were breaking off, and half of us were already foot out the door, and that was a big turning point, because it was like, because now it's a gut check. The guys that loved Malifaux but weren't volunteers looked ahead and said, I'm not going to volunteer anymore. I loved this game. I loved promoting this game, but I'm not gonna volunteer for another company or another game. And you know what? I totally respect that position, and I sympathized with it. Why would you? Why would you do something that's this time and resource intensive if you didn't absolutely love it? And I ended up on the other side of that because I was like, you know what? I love the volunteering part. I want to continue gaming and I want to continue volunteering for gaming. And so the question was, how do we how do we build? What do we do to restore our community? And what do we do moving forward so that we can continue to enjoy this hobby and the outreach, the particular aspect of the outreach side of the hobby, right? And so anyways, I adopted a couple of different strategies at the time. I said, okay, our Malifaux Facebook group, we are going to be relinquishing control of that. That actually wasn't my decision. That was Jake's decision, and that was a good decision. You know, we're not gonna we were not gonna lead a group that we are no longer invested in. So you know, at the time, I'll admit I had some questions about whether or not we should do that, but you know, in hindsight, I think that was the right call. So we stepped aside from that. I looked ahead and said, hey, we don't know what system we're gonna end up with. We don't know what we're going to be playing. All I know is, and because I can't speak for the other folks, all I know is I want to continue to show people games. I want to continue to paint on my YouTube, to talk about gaming topics that interest me. And so for me, the show isn't over. It's just a different show, right? And you know, we went through the whole thing where this was MNSU live. We went through that phase for a while. We went through kind of changing of the guard there, and it was cool. And you know, for you guys asking, yeah, I'm on friendly terms with you know, just about everybody else from these eras. And when I run into them from time to time, some of them don't game anymore. But you know, we're still on amicable terms, and so it's all pretty healthy. I went through that phase for a while, and all through all that time, you know, I was kind of wondering aloud within this core group and going, hey, you know, this is what I do. I always play painted miniatures, and I don't paint like high quality professional, spend dozens of hours on one piece type of style. I paint with the specific intent of getting a nice looking miniature on the battlefield. And you don't see that perspective on YouTube. You don't see it on YouTube. You hardly ever see it, you know, outside of a few veteran guys in real life that still abide by that code. Now, don't get me wrong. Lots of people like to paint. Lots of people intend to paint everything. It's just most people are either painting super high quality, or they're painting competitively, and they only crank out a set number of miniatures. Other people are just more casual, and they, you know, they're not going to spend their precious time so heavily invested on the painting side. It's their prerogative. But to me, that was one of the standout features of what we do specifically. Painting and playing as inseparable parts of the same hobby. That to me was an identifier. That to me, you could build. I felt that that's something that you could build an identity around. And that's really where Play It Painted started. That's where, as a concept, it started. Because it was like, okay, that's what I do. And so what I'm going to do, the first thing I did was I made a Facebook page, not a group. I wanted to make a page because I wanted Play It Painted to be a little more reflection of what I do, and just kind of a way that, oh, you can see what I'm working on, or you can see an event that I did. And to this day, that's what that Facebook page is. It's really just that. It's here's what I'm painting, or here's what I'm working on. And so I made the Facebook page. And, you know, at that time, guys like Phil Howard, Corey, a few other guys were like, okay, we're on board. We want to continue to do these activities with you. And especially like Phil and Corey, those guys are like, well, okay, we'll play it painted too. Because Phil did anyway. And Corey has so much fun with us that he's like, okay, I'm gonna make it a point too. I'm gonna do that as well. Corey's not a kind of a painter by nature. He kind of has adopted more painting in his repertoire, and that's kind of awesome. So that's where the other guys started to hop in, and it was like, okay, well, now we need a little direction behind what we're doing and so on. And at that point, I just kind of outlined, this is what I want to do. I want to go to these conventions. I want to teach these games. At the time, I was really into Cypher miniatures, and I'd been in contact with the manufacturers, and my friend Ross Thompson was over at Soda Pop saying, hey, you're going to want to come volunteer for me. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to have a baby, whatever. And eventually, Ninja Division formed up, and I volunteered there. So that side of it had formed up. And the part that was missing was, okay, we don't have a product, right? We have Play It Painting. We have a Facebook page. We're painting stuff. We're volunteering stuff. We're going to cons. We're still out of pocket. What exactly are we doing here? And having a baby really does kind of change your perspective on your hobby, because before the baby, shit, I used to just throw money in the fire. Be like, I'm gonna go to this con, I'm gonna buy all this stuff, me and my friends are gonna go have drinks, and we're gonna run around, and I'm just gonna be frivolous and enjoy life, because I got nobody depending on me. My wife and I both work, and we make a decent living individually, and so we had a lot of quote unquote disposable income before the baby, and so that's how we did it. And then suddenly the baby's coming, and we start doing some math, and it's like, okay, now we got to look at child support, child care, not child support. Shit, we're still married. Child care, and the other thing is, like, I'm not gonna, all that money I was throwing away, I thought about it, and I'm like, well, I can't do that. I can't with a clear conscience do that after my baby's born, because that's money. Like, if I'm going to go out and go to the con and buy a bunch of drinks and, buy myself a samurai sword and whatever, that's money that my baby could be benefiting from. If I'm paying for my friends' meals and for rooms and all that stuff, I don't buy them rooms, but we split the occasional room here and there. I'm like, but I can't afford to do that. I cannot afford to do that and have a kid and come home and be like, oh yeah, I spent the kid's money so that I could spend 3 days at a con and not watch my son, that kind of thing. Some guys do that. I'm going to try my best not to criticize those fathers, because they sure. But okay, yeah. When you see the father that does that without asking his wife's permission and brags about it online like he's machismo or whatever, then yeah, that's just stupid. That's lame. Sorry, just gonna call it out. That's stupid. Don't do that. You don't look cool, guy. You're a grown man with kids. You need to cut that shit out. But anyway, yeah. So the idea for commission painting came in because people were asking me to do that anyway. And up until that point, I hadn't taken money for stuff that I painted and gave to people. I took trades. I was like, okay, I'll paint your Arcanist crew, and you can buy me food, or you can buy me this terrain that I want. So we did stuff like that before. So it was a pretty simple transition to go into commission painting. It really wasn't that big of a deal. And that became the avenue for which, we kind of point point at as a product for Play It Painted was, okay, well, we're a commission painting service, but we're also all of those other things that I talked about. We also show people how to play games. We also sit down and paint with you and teach you how to paint. And so that's really where all of this kind of ended up. And it's kind of cool because, in my opinion, it ended up being this entirely self-sustaining entity that, like I was saying at the start of this whole ramble, is both giving and taking from hobby. Ultimately, I think it's pretty equitable. You know, you might argue that maybe it ends up being a little bit more giving to the hobby because, let's be honest here, we don't really charge that much for our commission services. And we usually only take services that we really like to do. We only take the projects that we really enjoy painting anyway. You know, it's not like we're all just painting 700 Skaven all day long. So, and then, you know, there's also the synergy of this stuff resulting in content, right? And it results in content that gets output through several sources. One, the Facebook groups. You know, SoCal Tabletop. That was a stepping stone for Play It Painted. That was where I had called that, when I put that page down, I'd called that a two-way mirror. That, to me, that was going to be our window to the Southern California gaming community, and look for opportunities to provide gaming opportunities within that community. It was just a matter of what games do we like. And so I put together the SoCal Tabletop group as kind of an open marketplace where people could talk about whatever game that they play. It didn't matter. We weren't associated with a particular game anymore. That was a big deal because we weren't married to married to the whims or particular manufacturer anymore. That was a big step for Play It Painted. It's part of one of the main reasons why the label existed and why the label was created, was so that we don't have to deal with that. That was a big pitfall for our previous effort. So anyway, so yeah. I got a little lost here because I can't find one of my brushes. But I'll find it. It's fine. So yeah, you know, and where it is today is, I think it's in a really good spot today because it really is just, this is what we like to do for fun. And this is, and it's subject to change, and it's okay. It doesn't hurt anybody necessarily if we change, if and when we change. And if and when we're done, you know, if baby number 2 is on its way and all that stuff, it's very easy to just kind of close up shop and cut down to the bare essentials. So overall, it's a really good thing. And again, it ended up being this really fun excuse to put on cool T-shirts and a banner and show up to these conventions and just play and meet new people and enjoy our hobby, and even either pay for our hobby, because that's what the commissions do, is it pays for our hobby. In some cases, I've got enough to where I actually end up paying all of our babysitting costs from commission money. And you know, that's really cool. It's a really cool thing to be able to do when you can take your hobby that traditionally was a money sink and just turn it into just enough of a little pocket money to handle a living expense or two. It's a good thing. So that's where Play It Painted came from. I think that overall, we want to continue to be a positive resource for the community. And for our members, their level of involvement is entirely up to them. Play It Painted is something that I crafted and draw up all the goals and direction for, and that's fine. And what's good about that is there's no pressure on my friends or volunteers to have to do anything more than what they want to do. That was a big thing too. So let's see. My problem with gamers are the unfocused gamers. When I sit down and play a game, my primary focus. I don't sidetrack discussing other games. I plan my turns to play turns out to win the game, flowing at a normal speed, and prefer other players do the same. Yeah. I think I complained about this on one of the videos. Like, one of the things lately that's kind of been on the map for me was the slow play in Relic Knights. That's been a thing. And it's not intentional. The guys, the people that have been doing it lately, they're good people. They just don't have the focus. And Relic Knights has so many moving pieces. There's so many moving parts to that game that you really are not. You're doing a disservice to the game and your opponent by not remaining focused. So, yeah, I agree with you there. David says, sell my painted extras to the flea market to pay for the con and buy more. Yeah, I've done that too. It's Strategicon. That's a great thing to do. I got rid of a bunch of GW stuff that way. Old GW stuff just went to Strategicon and got myself a little flea market table. And then, in the space of about 2 hours, I'd sold everything, made enough money for the con, made enough money for a hotel room, made enough money to buy myself something while I was there. So that's also a good thing. So, yeah. So that's where Play It Painted came from. In the next year, what do we expect? I don't know. I don't really see that Play It Painted is looking to grow. I don't see that at this point, we're just enjoying where we're at. Some of us have new life situations. Phil got married last year. I had a baby. And that's great. And our families will always be our priority. So that means the fact that we can continue doing activities as Play It Painted is kind of a bonus from where we're standing. That's we don't. It's the money that we gain and all that. That's not our livelihood. This is all hobby, and if we can continue to hobby and just enjoy our time, everything else that comes of it is just kind of bonus. We don't need to take anything. I'm not chasing e-fame or anything like that. I don't even know what I would do with e-fame. I don't know what I would do with 12 airbrushes, or we do have some product sponsors, but a lot of times, like Wargamma, and because he sponsors everybody, because that guy's awesome. But Wargamma, I've had manufacturers like Cypher and Soda Pop and stuff send me stuff, and I always end up giving that stuff away. Just like Dread, I may keep a piece or two for myself, but for the most part, that all goes back into the community, because that's what it's about. You want this community to sustain itself, and the more that you can comfortably give back, the better off I think everybody is. Because every time you do something positive for the community, whether you're hosting gaming or teaching painting, all that stuff comes back. That reflects well on us as a whole. The people that do stupid crap, the people that grief new players away from the gaming tables, the people that spread misinformation or really just try to call glory to themselves or to their, clique of friends or whatever. Those guys aren't doing gaming a service. It's just showing, it's showing the uglier side of group dynamics. The in crowd, out crowd, that kind of thing. If I joined PIP, would you make me famous? Ah, Canvas, if you posted nude photos of yourself, you would be very, very famous, sir. You'd be so famous. You could pose with, we could put some female war gamers up on the screen. Hopefully sexy ones. We'll ensure that those are the really hot chicks. Yeah, those are hardcore miniature gamers. I see them all the time. It's like the Twitch streamers, the video game chicks that just shoot their boobs while they're playing video games. We'll do the same thing. It'll be painted live, all cleavage shot. So the corner of the screen will be cleavage, and then you'll see somebody painting chibi eyes in the middle of that, because that's what you really tune into miniature wargaming for. It's for the babes. Clearly, that's why we do this. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool to do a little reflection on this whole thing and where it's been and where I see it going. Frankly, I think if next year is just a little, not more of the same, actually a little less of the same, I'm going to be pretty happy. I know last year I talked about reducing my con presence and cutting back to only essential activity. And I did believe it or not, I did cut back on activity. I did cut back on, conventions for me, with the exception of 2 conventions. All conventions for me this year have only been, I'm sorry, 3. I did 3 conventions that were more than one day. Wait a minute. Fuck, I'm lying. Sorry, pardon the language. There are 4 conventions that I will do this year that are multi-day. Okay, so WonderCon, GameX was 2 days roughly, Comic-Con, and Anime Expo. So those 4 are multi-day. Next year, it may only be 2. Next year, it may only be WonderCon and Comic-Con. I hadn't planned on doing multi-day AX, but there were some gaps, and I wanted to help out, and I managed to find a way to be there multiple days. So I'm doing that for Ninja and their booth. But yeah, next year should be less of the same, because I need to scale this back so that it's more manageable. I need to have more time with my family. I need to buckle down, tighten the belt around the finances a bit. All that adult shit that everyone here hates talking about. It's the reason why we're painting right now, and I'm bringing up bills and shit. Well, with that, I'm off. Have fun. Good night, man. Thanks for stopping in, Lord Draconin. Yeah, I want to talk about regular ass responsibilities and shit. The reason why we're down here right now, and you guys are working on, hopefully everyone's just kind of painting, and we're just bullshitting. We don't need to know about what the hell happened in the office today, or what your water bill looks like right now, or anything like that. Tonight we're just talking about Play It Painted Hobby, YouTube. YouTube is weird because YouTube was very much an afterthought for me. It was never really. I never understood the desire to post content online at all, not just YouTube, but like Facebook and all that stuff. Now I'm a freaking junkie with that. And my take changed on that mainly because I saw it, because first of all, you have to do it first. Because I had it written off like, oh, that's stupid. I'm not an attention whore. I don't need attention to paint little army men. I don't need subs to paint little army guys, whatever. I thought it was stupid. But as it would turn out, we wanted to post a battle report so that we could watch it later. It was really kind of a selfish motivation. And something interesting happened. We posted some content on YouTube, and some people reached out, people that just watch and go, hey, I really like what you did, and I have some questions for you, and I want to learn a little bit more. And when something like that happens to you, I don't know, it's like you are so grateful that somebody actually gave you a little bit of time to watch something that you put together for content, and they have legitimate questions. Of course you're going to want to help them. For me, I hadn't even considered that posting anything that I did was even helpful to anybody. I just looked at it like, okay, well, this is some shit that I want to watch later, and I'll take care of it that way. Started on a hobby budget years ago, and with the wife happy, the house is happy. Agreed. Very well stated, sir. But yeah. On the YouTube thing, I didn't even realize that that anybody even cared about what some weird channel with 2 subscribers, what we were putting out. We were putting out stuff that we wanted to watch. That's it. It didn't really matter if anyone watched it or not. What mattered was we got to watch it later and we thought it was hilarious, or we thought, oh, that's cool. And so we made content that we knew that our friends would watch. That was it. That's all we wanted to do. That was the only goal there. And so when people started to reach out and say, hey, you seem to have a discourse about games. Can you teach me that game that you seem so excited about? Can you teach us a little bit about how you're painting something? At first it was like, well, wait a minute, I'm not qualified to do any of that stuff. I'm not an official spokesperson for a game, and I'm not a quote unquote pro painter. Like, why would I presume to show you anything? But from the attitude of where I'm at now, it's like you just put your shit out there, right? You just put your content out there, because content has its own value, and there is some value to you just sharing your hobby. And whatever people get from it is just bonus on top of that. So that really kind of changed my my perspective on this, and it became more desirable for me to put content out, because somebody out there, even if just one person, that's been my saying, even if just one person benefits from something that I'm doing, I'll continue to do it. And in the case of this YouTube channel, and I've said it many times, if people aren't watching, if the live show doesn't benefit one person, I'm going to stop doing it. But every time I brought it up, one person, usually only one, pipes up and says, no, I'm working on my project, and you're helping me along just by having something for me to turn on and listen to while I'm painting. That is motivation enough for me to continue to do this kind of stuff. Is if one or more persons get something from me posting these and doing these streams, then they're worth doing. Another person benefited from me doing the very simple act of flipping the on switch on a camera while I'm doing something that I would have been doing anyway. I mean, there's no downside to that. So no downside to that. Why would I not do it? I remember the old days of the old shows where we're moving away from weird miniatures described as getting out of a bad relationship. Yeah, the breakup episodes. Oh man, this show, those episodes were funny because we would take our turns raging about stuff. Oh man, and we actually had a decent viewership at the time. Because I think people just wanted to tune in and just see us rage about stuff. That's kind of awesome. Yeah, those were good days. I don't want them back. I would never ever want to feel that way about a game or a gaming company again. But they're funny. They're fun. One of these days, if I have time, maybe while I'm painting, I'll fire up the old videos and just listen to our bullshit. Cause yeah, it's that. There was some of the rants that occurred were pretty impressive from my standpoint. There was some pretty impressive nerd rage going on during those days. I enjoy watching and listening, and I'm painting my minis. Thanks, Tori, man. That's great. Yeah, it's great. My hope is, and I was watching Daniel Sprinkle, and he's now, for the painting challenge, he just turns the camera on and he starts painting, and he starts rambling, and I coined the phrase ramble painting. My hope is that, and he's going to continue after the challenge because he didn't finish his Nagash. And by the way, if you're watching this on recording, go out and check out Daniel Sprinkle. I really like his discourse. He and I have certain things in common. We're both dads, and we're both hobbyists, obviously. And I just like his rambling. There's channels like that I can watch, that if I enjoy their discourse, if I enjoy the banter of a particular YouTuber, I will like their channel. Pool Shed Games, that's another one. Very low subscribership for Pool Shed Games, but I just like their banter. I don't even play the same games as these guys do. And I'm sure a lot of people don't play the games that I'm playing. But if you like someone's banter, if you like their discourse, then you're going to their channel. You're going to enjoy hearing them talk about, what's going on in their lives right now, what they're painting, what they should be painting, what annoys them about painting or gaming, or even what movies they like, what food that they like. There's some people that are just that I find entertaining, that I frankly don't hardly even care what type of content they're putting out there, because they're just entertaining people. Viv, perfect example of that. Rubbish in, rubbish out. That guy covers everything from brewing beer to building shields, and then he does miniature stuff as well. But he's always entertaining. It doesn't really, people love Viv because he just strikes you as the kind of person that you would be totally cool to just hang out with, and get in a game or two, drink a beer or two with. And I totally feel that way. And Viv is awesome. And yeah, it's the reason why that guy's got his the amount of YouTube followers that he has, is because he's just a cool person to follow around. And like I was saying also at the beginning of the show, Dreadlun's a really cool one. British Legion, that's a guy that he does pretty much all miniature painting, but I like his other videos too. I like his videos about just going around the town, or him enjoying his time with his kids. I watch shit like that. There's just personalities that you like on YouTube. Minutes on the Sun, it's another one. That he's another new dad. I think myself and Viv might just form the new dads club for miniature gamers on YouTube. Maybe we'll do it. I'll talk to those guys. Maybe we can do that. And for those of you guys that are just having your first kids too, maybe we'll form up a little support group, painting miniatures while not getting any more sleep at night, type of thing. It might be kind of cool. But yeah, let's see, other channels I like. I like watching, and I know Adam, you commented on this feed, but I do like watching Greenleaf Terrain because he does commissioned terrain work, and I love looking at custom built terrain. And here, that's another guy. He just does. Adam did this hilarious kind of just WTF video where he's like, "What do I do when I'm not making terrain?" And he put the music on and started dancing. I thought that was hilarious, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'd watch that." Canvas, I don't know if I could watch that guy anymore, man. Canvas doesn't. The mood hasn't struck for Canvas to do a video for a while, and you know what? That's cool, and I totally understand that too. Sometimes there are guys like Canvas and Cameron, Veil of Darkness, 000. Those guys, they're just honest. If they don't feel the need, if they don't have the desire to turn on the camera, they won't do it. I found personally that sometimes when I don't want to turn on the camera, and then I turn on the camera and then realize later that that's what I wanted to do anyway. So it worked out for me. But I don't begrudge anybody that just that's not feeling like they want to broadcast anything. It's none of my business, honestly, if they don't want to do it. I'm just going to give Canvas shit about it because it's funny to me. But yeah, Canvas is one of the, for you old guard YouTubers, you do realize that he is one of the more entertaining channels to watch. And I know, Tori, you just made your channel, but I can see from the very first video that you made to now that your comfort level is rising in front of the camera. That's great. I know that you had a little bit of trepidation about filming yourself and doing these painting videos, and it looks like you have since really just kind of grown accustomed to it, and you seem much more comfortable speaking and describing what you're working on in front of the camera. That's awesome. That's awesome. Kudos, man. That's great. So, but yeah, the YouTube journey was interesting. It was, like I was saying, it's more of a side thought. It was an afterthought for me. And now it's just this really fun other part of the hobby for me. It's just really fun to be able to do stuff like this and turn on the camera at night and have a conversation with a few people. It's cool. I like that. I hope that you guys really enjoy it. Had some people at Kingdom Con come up to me and actually thank me for just doing something like this. And to me, it just seems like nothing, right? I mean, I would be painting anyway, and I just have a camera on. So I took the challenge to post things on YouTube and not to be afraid of putting myself out there. Yeah, it's a big step, man. It's interesting. You could go back and watch the very first talking video I put up on this channel. It was about miniature bags and miniature cases. And I had like these old GW cases and like a cigar box and all kinds of stupid crap on there. And you're going to continue to get more and more comfortable in front of the camera. At least I think so. I think that's just kind of how it's going to work out. So anyway, I'm going to take a quick sip here. It's getting later into the evening, so I know some folks are checking out for the evening. But believe it or not, these are getting close to finished. I mean, it's really, I'm just working on skin, ultimately. Not a whole lot else to do here. And I'm not even going to wash this skin. It's I've been doing chibi miniatures without washing the flesh anymore, because the colors, you want to keep the colors pretty bright and clean now. And so these are most likely going to go to the buyer tomorrow, and the buyer will have the choice if they want my purple kobolds or my blue kobolds, or if they want my my green dragon set or my yellow-orange dragon set. So that should be cool. So we'll be playing a little, imagine we'll be playing a little Super Dungeon Explorer tomorrow. Forgotten King, which I am having so much fun with. I decided that I'm going to shoot my narrative stuff pretty much after the May Painting Challenge, or at least towards the very end. I want to continue to, I want to make sure that I can finish this set before the challenge is over. That way I did a Forgotten King set, Forgotten King expansions, and then went back and did a classic Super Dungeon Explorer set. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. One thing about the classic set, this classic set, is they must have known, by the time they made these, they must have known that they weren't going to be printing out very many of these anymore, because the mold lines on these are just atrocious. These are way worse than any of the other sets I've ever put together and painted. This particular last set here just has some of the worst mold lines I've ever seen. It's like they didn't want to, they figured they weren't going to be doing much of these anymore, so they didn't maintain the process very tightly. I'm just making that up. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like it. So this would put me at 3 finished heroes. I'll finish the other 5 towards the weekend, because tomorrow night I'm gaming again, so I probably won't be painting. I mean, if I do paint tomorrow night, the only thing I'm probably going to do is I'll probably just prime that Relic Knights conversion that I'm working on. There we go. All right. Paladin's looking nice and clean, you can see. So he's got more gray armor, like silvery gray armor, the way I painted this particular one, as opposed to the white, like shattered sword armor I typically do. Chibi models are so much fun. Love painting chibi models. That said, I will probably be taking a long break from chibi models after this painting challenge is over. Work on and I'll work on other stuff like Wrath of Kings, Takahashi University, Relic Knights, paint all that stuff. By the way, did I mention that Eldorado game I had last night was badass? That was freaking awesome. I was so happy that we decided to play Relic Knights last night. I'm not Relic Knights, Eldorado last night, as opposed to Infinity, which I thought we were going to play. Not that I have anything wrong with Infinity. It's just hadn't played Eldorado in a long time, and so it was missed. Okay. Whoa. By the way, I've been using the GW shader brush a lot, and once I found out that it was part synthetic, I was worried that the tip would curl, and so the tip curled. You can't really see it on camera there, but it's got a curl to it. Not annoying because this size of brush, that's not it's not the end of the world, but it's nice on the Winsor Newton that the tip did not curl, and I can continue to paint with that as I please. So there's that. All right, I need a little bit of red. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark, which is perfect timing because I'm just about finishing up here. There's not going to be much left to do here in a minute. So that was good. We did actually get through 3 miniatures during this time. Paladin's looking pretty cool, I think. Just gonna do some red gems and red tongue here. There you go. Paladin looking pretty cool. So I need a little bit of white too for his teeth. Let's do that. I hope that Eldorado comes back, man. I love Eldorado. I think it's such a good game. Hope it comes back. I hope that Cypher sees that they can. There's in my opinion, as a supported game, there is absolutely no reason why Eldorado should not be one of the most popular games right now. It is a solid system. It's a good game. It's got great thematics to it. The miniatures are ridiculously good. They're really, really good. And yeah, I just don't see how or why it's not a popular game. It just confused me forever why Eldorado was not a popular game. I hope it becomes a popular game. Okay. Oh, I forgot to get to do the little marking here on her face. Okay. Now I'm going to do some yellow ochre, and I'm going to knock out just a little bitty highlight. And frankly, these are done, man. There's not much. I don't think I'm really missing anything at this point. Just a little highlight of this, and we're good to go. I guess I can wash the dwarf beard, but that's not that important. I'll give a highlight of the gold, or yellow ochre, I should say. Looking pretty good, I think. Okay. What about you? You have some gold on your little bracers here and the knee pads. So the main gold pieces. And back here. And here. Yeah. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. And then this guy, also very simple. I mean, if I'm going to do anything else on these, it's just going to be a wash on the brown stuff. That's about it. In fact, I might as well just do that right now. Since we are at the end of the show, we'll just do our washing. Okay, and right now I'm just dotting a little white dot to signify gems. Yeah. Let me end my feed here, and then I'll help you out, okay? So anyway, sounds like I got to go, guys. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.